Greetings, online instructors. This is Jamie. I'll be walking you through a lecture of week 3 covering the syllabus. I'm looking at the agenda for this week. There is some class reading, some good examples of some syllabus elements within the Teaching Online book. In Chapter 5, we'll be reviewing strong tips for online syllabus, reviewing guidelines to how to write course objectives, and then you'll be submitting a very rough draft of a course syllabus containing only a few elements, but you can add as much as you like, because over the course we will build the syllabus through different elements. So if you just follow the instructions on the syllabus assignment, you'll see what I'm talking about. We'll get to that a little bit later. This week you'll need to add a frequently asked questions discussion to your development site and start generating a course schedule for your course as well. There is a scenario application. And I also want to remind you to complete your weekly reflective journal. This is how we can gauge a perception of how well you understand the week's activities. And you can also voice concerns or issues. This communication is only seen between student and instructor. And there's also some recommended resources if you wish to dig further in the material we present this week. So your syllabus is a contract. It's the most important document in your course. You may want to consider these questions, and if you are answering these questions in your syllabus. Some topics are class interaction. How are students expected to communicate with you, the instructor? How are students expected to communicate with each other? Have you even thought about how they will communicate with each other? And how are the students expected to interact with the tools and the material in the course? You want to think about expectations. Do you provide enough detail in your instructions so the students can submit successful documents or activities? Do students meet your expectations when they submit materials? If not, you may want to reevaluate if you're providing enough detail. Do you promote due dates and consistent release of materials? In this class, we release materials on Monday. Something may be due by Thursday, and then by Sunday, all the week's materials may be complete. We're promoting a consistent release of materials and expectations. And it's just like any on-ground class where if they're expected to come Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to class, in an online world, they're expected to read materials on Monday, submit something on Thursday, and submit something on Sunday. So you may want to consider if that's the way you want to promote your class. Your grading criteria. Are your grades weighted correctly? Do you include rubrics with assignments to give students examples of what they will be grading on and how it is weighted in that assignment? Do students have various opportunities for formative and summative assessments? So formative assessments aren't necessarily graded. An example would be, do they get to practice quiz? Do they get more than one opportunity to achieve an assessment without being penalized? Behavior from students. This is something you want to complete in your syllabus. What is your web etiquette policy? We have several you can choose from. You can copy verbatim if you'd like. What is your late work policy? Is there a lack of participation consequences? Is there a lack of work quality consequences, say in discussion boards? Do you expect robust discussions, or are one-sentence responses okay? And participation should be defined by you. What are your minimum requirements for participation? This is something you'll have to figure out. The common practice is to expect students to log in 2 to 3 times a week, just like in a normal class. Most of the work is text-based, so you should define what the quality of work in discussion posts or journal entries or blogs, what would you accept as successful? And submissions of quality work should be established for larger assignments as well. So a quick quiz. So instructors should post contact information, availability, and expectations of response times. That would be a yes. You should post your on-ground syllabus to your online class. Not necessarily, because your on-ground class syllabus elements may not apply to your online students. So that would be no. The syllabus is the most important document in your course. I would agree, yes. As the instructor, you should define participation in your course. Yes. And it is recommended that you supply important information more than once in an online course. Yes. If it is important information, you should put it in more than one place. So writing objectives. As you develop your course, you will want to be generating course and module level objectives. Objectives should be measurable, written from the student's perspective, and appropriate for the level of the course. If you're building a foundational studies course, you should also include the foundational studies learning outcomes and the category and how the course helps meet the program requirements. If you are not building a foundational studies course, this may not apply to you. Throughout this course, we are implementing elements of Quality Matters. Instructions on how to meet the learning objectives is helpful and required by Quality Matters. So Quality Matters, or QM, as we might call it, is a faculty-centered peer review process and is designed to certify the quality of online and blended courses. And this is established through a rubric, and you will submit elements or activities throughout the course and see these rubrics. And you can also click on a link, and we provide you a link to these rubrics as well. And what we want to do is try to meet as many of these standards as possible to facilitate successful online learning. So QM is nationally recognized as a leader in quality assurance. It's based in research, national standards of best practice, and instructional design principles. It's designed to promote student learning and promote continuous quality improvements. So you're never really done with improving a course. There's always something that can be done just a little bit better. Here it is part of an inter-institution, faculty-driven peer review process. So these are the standards associated with Quality Matters rubric. The first standard covers course overview and introduction, learning objectives, assessment and measurement, instructional materials, interaction and engagement, course technology, learner support, and accessibility. We have adapted QM as a tool to improve the quality of online and blended courses here at ISU, and as you develop your course, we will apply the QM rubric to selected elements of your course. Even if you meet the standards associated with the various assignments, we will offer constructive feedback to improve your work even further, because our primary objective in this course is to help you develop the building blocks of a quality course. One approach to writing objectives is the ABCD approach: audience, behavior, conditions, and degree. So your audience, you want to clearly identify who your learners are. The behavior, you want to describe the action or describe the new capability that learners will learn after the instruction. What materials or tools will students be using or not be using to demonstrate this mastery of the objective? And the degree, by a minimal acceptance, will be judged. So a time limit, a score, things of that nature. And this is just the building blocks of writing an objective. So here are a few examples. I'll just go over one. Online composition students will develop a clearly stated thesis statement that presents a focused argument. These examples meet all these A, B, C, D requirements. In course and module level objectives are the foundations of the content of the course. Everything, all the materials, all the activities, any assessment need to align towards an objective in the course, because you don't want to give busy work. You want there to be a purpose for everything in the course. Developing your course objectives is part of this assignment, but within each week you can develop these module level objectives that meet a portion of your prime learning objectives in your course. Module level objectives should be consistent with the course level objectives. So after reviewing the objective writing materials, generate your own course level objectives and add them to your course syllabus draft. The assignment is located in the weekly assignments folder. So how many objectives you have is dependent on your course. You might aim for 10 to 15 as a starting point, though you may have more or fewer depending on your course needs and design. Sometimes it's better to have too many and narrow them down than not enough. We will offer feedback this week on your submitted syllabus course objectives, so you can continue to refine them in the coming weeks. So this week, here's your assignment for the Create a Syllabus. We've listed the objectives, the assignment descriptions, and this week you're going to focus on what you're going to be graded on is the course objectives you create, the student-instructor communication policy, and the student-student communication policy. So it is vital you have those three elements accounted for in your submission of your syllabus. There are directions here and examples. This is a template we created, and you can basically use this outline to plug in the information you already know if you want to build a syllabus from scratch. And you may pull from other various syllabi that you may have created in the past, but we want to try to encourage you to have information for all of these bullet points. You're going to submit your draft and turn it in, and there's a brief tutorial how to do that. That is in your weekly assignments folder as well. We've provided links to necessary materials, and here is your rubric on how you'll be graded. And this is all available in the weekly assignments folder. You also have a scenario application this week. You will collaborate with fellow faculty to develop a common syllabus statement related to a various course aspect, and we'll give you that information in the scenario application. You'll have to self-enroll in this group topic that most interests you. So pick one that interest you and begin the discussion by assessing your group's discussion board. Depending on the class interest, keep in mind you may be the only one in your group because there are several groups to choose from, but we will monitor the discussions and hopefully this will be a successful way to participate in week 3. This week you also need to add a frequently asked question discussion board to your post. An example of discussion boards is in this course. We want you to create 2 to 3 anticipated questions and answers that you believe your students might have about your course. If you've taught this course before, you have a good idea of what is commonly asked, usually at the beginning of the semester, questions about the course. And you can also refer to your colleagues if you need help. You also want to start generating a course schedule. You would just need to break down the weeks that the course will be offered. If there's 16 or 17 total weeks, you just want to have a good idea of what material you plan to offer in those weeks, and if you're offering projects that are due, testing, quizzes, chapters you plan to cover. It's basically just a breakdown of your schedule. And this is just to get you started in thinking about the pacing of the course. So one week is not generally overloaded by the next week. And I also want to remind you that you need to post in your weekly reflective journals. And this is a place for you to explore your progress for the week and reflect on what you found positive and if there were any challenges that you came across, because we want to make sure that everyone is doing these activities successfully. And if there's anything we need to revise or edit, we want to know too. We really appreciate this. And we've given you a series of questions to answer for your reflective journal, just so we're encouraging you to provide all the information we need for these questions in this week's course. I just want to remind you that part of your requirements for the successful completion of the course includes 2 consultations with your assigned instructional designer. We want to encourage you to try to get it done before week 4. So if you haven't done so already and scheduled an appointment, please do so at your earliest convenience. Okay, I want to wrap up here by saying I hope this week is successful for you. And if you need any help or have any questions, please feel free to contact your instructional designer and we'll walk you through what you need to get done. So until next time, this is Jamie Edwards, and I'll see you in class.